come back to Spotlight. I mean, I have three beautiful ladies. what you smiling about?
We're happy to be here with you,
You're happy to be
Cromwell.
here. Okay.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Dr. Samuel,
Thank you.
Chief of Medical Staff of People's Hospitals. Good to see you. And of course, Risk Manager Rhonda Williams. Good to see you. And my good sister Gretchen Hodgpen from Queens, Bronx.
Tatola.
There you go. Set him straight.
We go back to America.
Yes, we do.
We go back to
Yes,
America.
we do.
It's good to be home, ain't
It's
you?
wonderful to be home.
How long you home now?
Over 2 years.
Yeah, that's cool.
After
Yeah,
the last set of weather, it must be good to be here.
yeah, man.
It's really good to be home.
Yeah, it's good to be home. Yeah. There's no place like home.
Amen.
Be it ever so humble.
There's no place like
There's no
home.
place like- It's good. It's good to have you. Well, it's great to see you guys. Welcome to Spotlight. And you know, there's a lot of discussion about the hospital, and of course, the hospital is a great source of national pride, and everybody agrees that we've done a really good job in building such a fantastic facility. And of course, you guys have really made a remarkable transition. I don't know how you managed to keep all the glitches secret. Or perhaps there weren't any glitches at all. Yeah. Smooth transition. So how is it? How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. We've, as you've said, we've completed our physical transition from one space to the next. But, you know, those of us who work in the authority always, we're saying all the time, now the real work has begun. Because, you know, we've moved into a nice new facility, nice building, built to accreditation standards. But that is not the end. You know, the beginning now is about ensuring that all of our processes and the way we work within the facility can now go on to meet accreditation standards. So, you know, the work is now really ongoing. Just beginning. Yes, and you know, we're talking about our human resources. We've hired quite a number of new staff. As expected, we're continuing to hire because, as most people will know, we've only opened up to the 4th floor. So we have not yet expanded out into the 5th floor. So there will be a process ongoing over time of hiring or recruiting enough human resources so that we can occupy up to the 5th floor. But of course, in bringing so many new persons into the organization at one time, you know, does come with its challenges. You know, so we are really now working on our process improvement, looking at all of our various processes and, you know, redoing those processes that need to be redone. And at the same time working with the staff to help them to fit and work with these new processes. It's a significant shift, I think, for most people in the organization. Even if you've worked in healthcare for many years, healthcare is dynamic. It doesn't remain the same. As doctors, you know, guidelines change every 3 minutes. You know, so you're always having to learn new processes, new ways of dealing with people, new ways of doing things. So that's where we're at now. It's still exciting for those of us who like challenges. I suspect that some of our staff may be feeling stressed because it's a lot of changes being thrown at them at once. I was just walking through the medical surgical unit and I was talking to the nurses and I said to them, I'm just checking to see how you guys are doing. They're like, really? I'm like, yes, because I know y'all must be stressed. You know, it's a medical and a surgical unit combined. You know, we have ill people on the ward. So I just want to see how y'all are coping. You know, and really, we have to check on our staff all the time because it's a lot.
But I mean, it's like getting new clothes. You know, for me, you know, I like clothes. So I'm making an analogy. You know, you get new clothes, you try it on, you know, you feel good walking down the street in your new clothes, your new suit, it fits well, you know, you match your shoes, and, you know. So, I mean, the hospital, what does it feel like working there? It must be a totally different feeling from the old People's Hospital.
Yes.
I mean, does
It
it make, it's a different feeling.
It's definitely a
Clean,
different feeling.
new, modern, electronic gadgets, all the things you never had before.
All the things you never had before.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, does it make you feel good, better about working in the medical profession?
It does. It does. And you know, in the new building, there are some new services that we've opened that we didn't have before. So, for example, ICU. ICU is although we've had the service before, it is now in its own space with 4 new beds added to the service. So, you know, there is the excitement of really having the opportunity to set up a service and run it in the way that you know it ought to be run, which, you know, we didn't have before because it didn't have the space, you didn't have the equipment. So, I mean, for me personally, it's really exciting. And, you know, I'm always, every time I go into the building, I think opportunity. And, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for growth.
Is it having a positive impact on the personalities of the staff, management and staff?
I would say yes, absolutely. Nursing care has definitely changed. I know people have high expectations with the new hospital, and rightfully so. You're in a new environment that's totally different from where we came. I'm in this position for 9 months, and when I came to the former hospital, I was amazed at the nurse-patient ratio. I was amazed at the surroundings. I visited there for many, many years, but you're seeing it through different eyes. And moving into the new facility, I have to tell you with a sense of pride because it's something that I know we all have been looking forward to for many, many years. I, who have come from New York, have been really waiting for this hospital to open, and that is what the staff also had, that sense of pride. Like Dr. Samuel said, it was a big culture shift for them to move from where we presently were into where we are now. We moved from a inpatient of 3 units to an inpatient of like 6 units. The layouts are completely different. The surroundings are completely different. The equipment that they're working with takes time to understand. And I have to say I'm fortunate to work with people who didn't know what my agenda was, didn't know me at all, and yet embraced me when I came in. I work with a wonderful set of nurse leaders, the nurse managers, the coordinators, who were very supportive in that regard. The staff were unbelievable. I don't think people really understood what it took to move from the hospital that we presently were in to the other hospital. The time, the extra hours that people put in to make sure all of their units were ready so that when the patients came in that night of December 29th, that we were prepared to take care of patients. People who stayed through the night, people who worked almost 24 hours to make sure that the people of Tortola were going to be well taken care of, and it seemed seamlessly. I have been involved in many hospital moves within my career, and I have to tell you, with the limited resources that we had here, they could rival anyone that I saw in New York. And the sense of pride that the staff had moving into the new hospital, I think you all saw the T-shirts that we had, keep calm and move on. That alone gave them a sense of pride. Every single individual had a T-shirt, from Dr. Smith to environmental services. And it's still a work in progress. It will be a work in progress until we reach that goal of accreditation and JCAHO standards, which is the gold standard of what we're working towards. But I feel that the staff really want to do a good job, and I think they are doing a good job. I'm extremely proud to be a member of this organization.
Well, we are glad. of course, I hear you say that. Is that translating down into the general attitude of the care providers, though? Because we've been hearing complaints, Miss Risk Manager. We've been hearing we've been hearing complaints about long waiting times,
Yes.
challenges with medicines and a host of other things that people come up in the street, and of course we have a tendency to make challenges larger than what they really are. So I mean, is it the exception, or is it that really the service has not improved as we expect that it should have, given the new facilities and new equipment and additional staff?
No.
I think the service has improved. We're not perfect. We are striving for excellence. We have done an awesome work. We're working with people, and people have, issues. What we do is we try to use every opportunity that people make as a complaint, an opportunity for improvement for us. And that's what we call it in the organization. Here's an opportunity for improvement. This is what it looked like when you didn't do this, this. Or this is what somebody saw when you said this, or what somebody heard when you said this. And sometimes it really isn't meant to come across that way, but we, our culture is what it is. But I think we have some different expectation from professionals because it's a healthcare environment, and we recognize that. And what we're trying to do is a lot more teaching and simple things like communication and customer service, and all these things that I don't think we thought about in healthcare before. But it's becoming one of the gold standards, and so we are doing those things presently in our organization.
So it's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Yes.
And that's
I think that's
if you say it with a smile, it doesn't hurt as much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that as Ms. Williams said, the concept of service in the healthcare industry is new, and for us in the BVI is new as well. So, one of the things that we're focusing on is on helping our staff to understand that we're rendering service, and that the service must be rendered to a particular standard. I think, with the move, the advent of the move, yes, the public had expectations of what would happen once you moved. And, be that as it may, around the time of the move, we did see a spike in the number of complaints that we were receiving. And a lot of those complaints really had to do with process issues, and has had to do a lot. Some of it was related, of course, to staffing levels, because I think most people would know we've moved, but the minister has said it actually, we don't have the full complement of staff, you don't have all the equipment that you should have. So that, of course, will have its own fallouts. So we did see an initial spike just after the move and into January. I think the last check, we've started tapering back down. We track all different types of complaints. So even within the institution itself, there are certain types of complaints that we would notice. And, as Rhonda said, as those things come up, we use them more and more now as teaching opportunities for the staff. So a lot of the teaching, the things that are known in the hotel industry in terms of, how you deal with customers, those are some of the concepts we're working on getting our staff to be comfortable with, and we're setting standards to those the types of service that we expect.
So in a sense, you want people to complain about the things that they're dissatisfied with.
Well, I won't say we want them to complain,
Well,
but
I mean, it helps you to improve.
yes, we see. Yes, we use complaints as a way to.
I encourage people to state what is not satisfactory with the care. It could be in the hospital, it could be without. I had an example Saturday. I was in the eyeglass store and we were talking, and I heard someone mention PEEBLES, and it wasn't very complimentary. But I asked, well, tell me a little bit about what your experience was. And they did, because if we do not know where the problems are, we can't correct them. And that's the whole point of, I like to say, opportunities for improvement. I don't like the word complaint. It gives a negative connotation. And what we want to do is educate. Educate staff when something didn't go wrong, not constantly feel like we're being punitive to them, but to understand why that patient or that family member felt that way. I could use an example of the waiting hours in the emergency room. Family member brings their child in. They want their child to be taken care of. At the same time, there may be another person with a cardiac arrest going on, a patient bleeding out. They don't understand that. They understand that they brought their child for care and they're not being seen in a timely manner. But at the same time, we have to educate the public as to why sometimes these waiting times occur. There's a more urgent need by another patient. Granted, it's not what the patient at that time wants to hear, but it's how you educate or communicate it. And not only that, sometimes you have to go and completely go to the person and say, this is what's going on. Just a little bit of communication as to what's going on and why goes a long way. And then maybe that complaint, that person understands, and the complaint doesn't occur.
Yeah, even a gentle touch.
A gentle touch,
yes. Yeah, we're going to get to you, but this person is bleeding to death.
Yes.
You know, please understand.
Exactly.
You know, we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about employment opportunities at People's Hospital. There are a lot of persons who want jobs and who have been complaining, you know, that they are BVI landers, and they. We had a big issue in the paper, in the news, about persons who feel that they are being slighted, and BVI landers who feel that they are being slighted. We also want to talk a little bit about the process by which you could provide an opportunity for the service providers to improve themselves. Not, you know, instead of saying complain, I'm trying to buy into your words.
Opportunities
and opportunities for improvement.
Yes.
We're going to be right back after these words from our sponsors. Keep your lock right at the Spotlight.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, and CCT Global Communications.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm enjoying my conversation with Dr. June Samuels, Ms. Rhonda Williams, and Mrs. Gretchen Hodge Penn. I can't forget Gretchen. Yes, Chief of Medical Staff, the Director of Risk Management, and the Director of Nursing. Yes, we're having an interesting conversation about the New People's Hospital, what's happening there. And there is a procedure by which you can provide an opportunity for the staff of People's Hospital to improve their service. And I want Rhonda, as the risk manager, to talk a little bit about that process by which you could make representations when you think a service could be improved in a certain way, or something that had happened to you that didn't meet your expectation.
Right. So as you rightfully said, anything that has not met your expectation once you come into the organization, we want to hear about it. We want you to feel free to come in and have that discussion with us. Myself, Rhonda Williams, I am still in the old hospital. My office is still in the old hospital. They haven't moved me up into the Beverly Hills yet, but I'm going to get there soon. But we encourage people to come in, have some dialogue with us. We take that information and we do our investigations and stuff. One of the things that we have actually done is we ask people if they're willing to come in and actually present their side of the story. And we've had some very favorable persons coming in and just talking about their experience. And the staff then had an opportunity to hear not what Rhonda Williams is saying or what they think Rhonda Williams is saying or what they think June Samuel is saying, but what the patient is actually saying and how they felt when they were given certain care. And so it gives them a different perspective on what is going on in the healthcare system and what people's expectations are. So those are the kind of things that we do. I encourage people to call. We're going to be building our email and it's going to call opportunities for improvement. I think it's going to be opportunity for improvement at the BVI HSA. That is going to be coming soon. Stay tuned to our website, because that's going to be on our website as well.
And your website is
bvihsa.gg. Right? And so that is going to be a forum for people to be able to, say, okay, this is what happened and this is our expectations, and we didn't meet that expectation. And we take every complaint seriously. We deal with it in real time. We try to make sure that everything within our process is smooth. Sometimes it's not the people, sometimes it's the process, and we walk through those things as well. So, give us an opportunity, let us try to do what we can do internally and see how we can fix it, because our aim is actually to provide the best health care, not just in the Virgin Islands, but beyond.
and
No, and to add, I just wanted to add to what Rhonda was saying. That, a key point is that we do look at every single complaint. There's a process of investigation that goes on, and there's a process of feedback that we work on to make sure that we give some feedback to the individuals who complain. And those are all complaints, including any clinical issues where the outcome was not what you expected or there was an adverse outcome. There's a process in-house whereby every single complaint is looked at and there's feedback given.
okay. And then your office is in the Old People's Hospital, and it's what the risk management office. If I came in and I wanted to ask for that place where I can go to voice my views, it's the risk management office.
Right.
So everybody asks for the risk management will be able to steer me right to you.
Yes.
All right.
Come into the security, they are going to be able to direct you to where I am.
Yeah, and I know that some of us, we complain beyond measure, and sometimes the information is not always accurate. And I think people ought to know that the new IT system is an awesome system, and it allows for a certain degree of measurements. And accuracy in the delivery of service. I remember one person complained to me that they were in a hospital waiting for 4 hours and they couldn't get service, and people were coming and going and getting service, and they couldn't get any service, and their child had a fever and so on. And when the IT system pulled up the records, because there's a registration process as you come in. And then as you get service, there's another process, and so all this is being recorded on the IT system.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
everything is timed. So you could go into the system and you could see when a person actually came in, when they actually got service, how long that service took, and when they left.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it turned out they were only there for an hour. I suspect that when you're ill or your baby is ill, an hour can seem like 4 hours.
Yes.
So we have to understand that as well. But there's a lot of times the information needs to be investigated for accuracy, and so that you can in fact know that you're improving what you need to improve. I just think I should mention that people want jobs, and you and just move right into it, right?
Yes.
No segue. But of course, you're gonna be under the turning of the clock soon. And what's available? I think I heard that you're up to like 600 staff members now or something.
It's about
590.
It's about
91,
that,
Yeah,
591
591 staff members.
Staff members, and you need more staff. What's needed? What can people apply for now?
Well, the primary area of opportunity right now is nursing. That's our area that over the next few months we are going to be looking for persons. I guess Gretchen can speak about that, because there's nursing aides, patient care assistants. So there are different levels of.
It's true. And patient-wise, nursing care is the reason why people are in the hospital. And nursing department composes the biggest area in terms of employment. In terms of nurses, right now, We get our nurses mostly from around the Caribbean because we don't have that cadre of nurses here in Tortola. It's a lengthy process between immigration, making sure they meet the standards that are required for nurses here in the BVI. My goal is always to see where we can get the nurses from Tortola. And I have to tell you, the first 3 nurses I hired were from Tortola, based on the scholarship program that we had here. But the goal is, hopefully, that more people will become interested in the nursing profession, female and male. Got to put a plug in that my father was a nurse. I think he was the first male nurse that came out of Tortola. So female and males have that opportunity. And then, as well as Dr. Samuel says, it's not only nurses, it's nursing assistants. We have orderlies. We're changing their job descriptions somewhat so that we could identify those individuals who help with patients' mobility and transfer, and those who help with the direct care. And in terms of opportunities here in Tortola, that's where I see the greatest opportunity for job improvement and job interest if they're interested in the healthcare profession. We encourage the young students in high school to come and volunteer so they have an opportunity to see what opportunities there are in the healthcare arena. So basically, I encourage people from the BVI to look into those particular
And prepare
jobs.
themselves.
And yes.
prepare
Preparation
themselves.
is the biggest thing. People will come and talk to you about jobs, and my biggest thing is come prepared. Investigate what that particular job is. Know what the responsibilities of that job is, so that when you come to us and we interview you, we know that, number one, you have an interest, that you don't know what exactly is involved with that job, that you have a passion for it and why you really want it, because it's not just about the money, it's about how you care about people. It's the relationship with the patient, who is the center of our being in the hospital. So those are the things that I try to encourage people when they ask about jobs. Know what the job is. Have an idea of why you want that job, because the better you prepared, the better it is that we will see that you want to do it. And we give those people a chance because we're training them in the hospital. It's not like they come already prepared. So those are the things that I would say are most important.
Now, I know that you have something called study leave, or you provide scholarships, or you help fund education for a lot of the employees in the hospital. Are you continuing that process? Persons in the hospital who perhaps are nurses, aides, and who wants to further their education, become nurses. Do you have scholarships in the hospital that you're giving, that you're making available, funding you're making available? I know when I was on the board, we did have some people that went on different in different areas. Some nurses, some people in the dietary unit, in other parts of the hospital. Those that training still prospects still available.
If I'm correct, I believe that is a focus in terms of the ministry. It is a focus. Scholarships for nursing is one of their primary focuses right now, yes.
In-house, we provide support for persons who are on staff. If you've been on staff for at least a year, then there are opportunities for support if you're going off to in an area of study that is priority for the authority. So, right now, for example, we have one of our physicians who's on study leave. We have 2 actually who will be coming back, one this year and one within 2 years. We've collaborated with the college and had some training for medical billing and coding and medical administrators, and for some of those individuals, a part of their training was funded by the Health Services Authority. And we get the requests. So once it is within the within the priority area for the Health Services Authority, there's opportunities there to get support. Yes.
No.
I just also wanted to include, you mentioned billing, and we also hemodialysis techs. And we had 3 of our present employees who went to HLSCC, took the course, and are presently working in those capacity as hemodialysis techs, and are going to be hopefully working towards certification in that area. One was a clerk, one was a assistant.
Nurse assistant.
Yes. So
How are you finding? Forgive me for cutting you
That's
off.
okay.
How are you finding the training that the programs in HLSCC in relationship to meeting your expectations as
Well, to tell you the
as a
truth,
hospital?
it was a pleasure for me today to see that one of the nurse managers of that dialysis tech was extremely happy with the fact that the person had passed their orientation process. After I had finished a long day, I opened up the email and she sent an email telling me that that particular individual passed it. She's doing extremely well. She's highly confident that she's going to be doing well in that particular area. The two individuals presently in the department are very excited about the fact that they're able to do this type of position. And so I think that the training was excellent. Ms. Hanley was the one who orchestrated it, took a great deal of interest in these individuals. They took a lot of interest in that particular program. And right now we're reaping the benefits of the fact that now we have technicians that we didn't have before that are enhancing the work that they do in the dialysis area, which gives the nurses more time to work with their clinical skills with the patients. So in that regard, the training was excellent.
No, well, that's good to know, because we want HLSCC to be able to provide those skills.
Yes. And I mean, for those groups, they have the opportunities to become certified. So, and once they become certified, that is a qualification that they can take anywhere in the world
Yes.
because they're certified
Yes.
by U.S. standards.
Yes.
So, for them, it's really, for their own career development, it really is an opportunity. So
Yes.
those are available. We're also going to be doing scrub techs
Yes.
to supplement the staff in theater. Scrub techs are, do you want to explain what scrub techs are? Scrub techs are specialized nurses who are trained specifically to assist surgeons in theater. So they're trained specifically to work in those
during
areas during operations.
Surgeries.
Yes, yeah. So that's the next area that I know we're going to be
looking at
moving
other
into.
areas too, hopefully that will enhance the different jobs that we have in the hospital,
Yeah.
which will only enhance those people who are looking for positions in the hospital.
Yeah. Now, I think it's important for persons looking for jobs in the hospital to understand as well that the requirements for certain jobs in the hospital are different than the
Yes.
requirements for the same jobs in the private
Yes.
sector, in other
Yes.
areas, not the private sector, but in other areas.
Yes.
Because you hear talk about persons saying, why can't I have been cooking for restaurants for years and I've been cooking and selling food. Why can't I get a job cooking in the hospital? Or I've been cleaning, hotels and other facilities for years. Why can't I get a job, a cleaning job in the hospital? Well, it's not. It's a whole
Not
different
as easy.
cleaning.
Yes.
And it's a whole different cooking.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about
Let me
that.
tell you a little bit about cooking. In terms of our quality, we expect that all the persons who are in our kitchen are what we call safe serve certified. So it's a standard, and you just have to meet that minimum standard. So again, we're trying to do everything that we can to improve the services that we provide. And we have an awesome group in terms of Philippa Barry, Miss Beverly, Cricky Mercer. She's awesome, and she really took on that task of prepping all the staff to make sure that they were able to do the exam and pass. She actually gave them an exam at a higher standard before they were able to take the safe certification to make sure that they would actually pass that certification. So
And of course, when you're cooking food for patients, there's certain measurements that you have to follow. Particularly salt, sugar,
Yes.
Dairy, the various nutrients and so on that you have to be aware of. You just
Right.
can't put in a dash of salt
Right.
or a pinch of sugar.
Right.
Right.
You can't measure that way. You gotta have a big piece of meat.
everything is portion control.
Yeah.
Everything is
It's almost
done-
like medicine.
Right.
You know, the
Yes.
food is almost
It
like
is,
medicine.
it is,
right?
But it is.
It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
You
Every-
mentioned cleaning. Cleaning
Right.
is not just like you're taking a mop with some soap and mopping on the floor. Infection control is a big issue in hospitals. So you have to know how to mix the certain solutions to deal with the certain type of organisms that could be growing in different areas. Making a bed is not the same like making a bed in a hotel. Cleaning an office is not the same because of organisms. We're living in a world where germs are coming up all the time and patients are vulnerable. You have to protect not only the patients, but you have to protect staff. And there's certain regulatory procedures and policies that you have to follow. So those people cleaning have a tremendous job. They don't know how important their job is. So you have to understand why I have to mix this certain type of a solution to clean this type of a bed because a patient had a certain type of organism or bug, if you want to say. So it's not just taking a mop and putting some Clorox and just washing the floor or washing a bed. That's why it's so important that people know how to add and subtract and divide and multiply because the solutions require that.
Measurements,
Yes.
Yeah,
And if you don't do it properly,
if
we have an outbreak of an
you
epidemic.
put less of one chemical than you should, then
Yes.
you don't, it
defeats
defeats the
the
purpose.
purpose.
You don't achieve the goal of
Yes.
killing the bacteria.
Right.
And that training is provided in the hospital as
Yes,
well.
it is.
Yes.
Yes. So I think it's important for us to understand that because sometimes you hear people talking, you get the feeling like the hospital is slighting them or don't want them
Could
to get
understand
a
that.
job that they are qualified for, and it's not
Yes.
it doesn't require a whole lot of academic skills or
Yes.
knowledge, but in fact it does.
It does.
Yeah, I think we ought to make that clear. We fall on the turning the clock.
So I just want to mention before you end that in terms of job opportunities, there's the present, what we need at present, but we want to remind, all the kids who are out there and students that the opportunities continue. So in pharmacy, for example, we're rolling out next week our Omnicell system, which is it's a system that helps us to manage our medication inventory and dispensing of medications. And because of that, we're having to hire additional pharmacy staff because now we have to have pharmacy available for inpatients almost 24 hours a day. So pharmacy is an area of great need, whether you want to become a pharmacist or whether you want to do the pharmacy tech program. Okay, that's something that persons need to look into. The lab, we are about to move lab and imaging to 24 hours. And of course, once we do those types of things, you have to have the staff. So medical technology and imaging technology, we are bringing in an MRI, we have CT, we have ultrasound, and all of those areas in imaging require persons with specialized skills. So, and of course, at the end of the day, the whole building is going to be fully computerized. So there's lots of opportunities in health IT, software, computer technology, etc. So there are opportunities for now because we need people now, but there are opportunities for the future. And it is really a great time. I mean, healthcare, you've always heard in the US, if you're working in the healthcare industry, you will always have a job because it is one of the industries that you just need people. And it's going to be the same thing in the BVI. So
youngsters need to start planning.
They need to pay attention and start planning to be in the healthcare industry. We are here, but we only got a few more years here. So we need some people behind us, to take over some of what we're doing.
And I
So
know
it's
we
really
focused a lot on complaints, opportunities for improvement, but there's a lot of good that's been going on in BVI-HSA. I tend to think we don't focus on the compliments that people have been getting for the job that they've been doing. Staff have to understand and see that it's not only the opportunity for improvement that we continually talk to them about, but the good that they've been doing. And we've been doing a lot of good. A lot of compliments have been coming in, and we don't focus that much on the compliments that the patients have been saying. Nursing managers make rounds. I make rounds. I talk to the patients. They say a lot of good. So we're doing a lot of good work. It's being recognized. I want staff to know and the public to know that it is being recognized. But yes, we take your concerns quite seriously, but at the same time, we must also look at the other side.
Yes.
There's a lot of good, and they should be very proud of the staff that's in BBI-HSA.
Dr. Samuel, risk manager Watt Williams, and nurse Hodgpen. I enjoyed the conversation immensely. So it's needless to say it was great having you on Spotlight, and I'm really impressed with the great work the hospital you guys are doing at the hospital, and we wish that you continue to do that great work and you continue to improve. And of course, you're welcome to come on Spotlight anytime and to let people know what your needs are, what you're doing, and so that they could appreciate you as healthcare professionals.
Thank you so much for having us.
And we will be back.
I know you'll be back. Yes. Spotlight next week to find out whether the minimum wage should be raised or not. That's going to be a hot issue. And we're going to open the phones next week from the very beginning so that you have an opportunity to voice your opinion and talk to the committee that's responsible for doing the research as to what we should do with the minimum wage. That's going to be an interesting discussion, so make sure you're here for that. Spotlight is seen live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. here on JTV Channel 55 and rebroadcast Sundays at 2:30 p.m. Watch Spotlight on demand at jtvlive.net. Like our Facebook page, participate in discussions on issues coming from Spotlight, find out about upcoming guests and topics, and you can suggest your own as well. I'm Ed Urenka, reminding you that when the Spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, and CCT Global Communications.